Hello everybody and welcome back to Satisfactory. Last time we automated packaged liquid biofuel, got ourselves some temporary plastic and rubber setup, and in addition to that a little power boost, and unlocked a bunch of milestones in tiers 5 and 6. But that was all preparation. Preparation for what? Preparation for today. So, we have a lot to do. So, this is the list for today. We need to make some blueprints, then we need to pave the biome with all the space we'll need, and then we need to get all the resources sitting pretty where we need them. So, what blueprints do we need? Well, we are using the recipe, which I believe will just be in here actually. Yes, diluted packaged fuel. So, this is a touch complicated, which is why I want to blueprint it. It needs a refinery and 2 packages. Something like this. Actually, no, other way around. The way it works is you use diluted packaged fuel here, excuse me. You package water and you unpackage fuel. So this looks confusing, but let me explain. We put, essentially, heavy oil residue and water in here. Then what comes out is packaged fuel, and that'll come out as a conveyor belt. So then, what happens is we unpackage that packaged fuel, so we get the same amount of fuel, right? And that'll just come out here and do whatever it needs to. But if you unpackage something, you get the canisters. So we reuse the canisters in here to repackage the water that will be feeding into here. So essentially this will be fed in water, packaged up and sent in here with the heavy oil residue to make the fuel. It is a little bit complicated, but once I blueprint it neatly and not whatever that is, it will make more sense. But essentially the idea is canisters go round and we get more fuel out of it. Because the standard fuel recipe, this is 1 to 2, we have 1 heavy oil residue and we make 2 fuel, but the standard recipe in a refinery, it is 60 to 40. Which is a loss, right? But with the diluted packaged fuel, it's 30 to 60, which is double. So, it's just way more worth it to do this. And it uses the same exact ingredients, just with a little bit of water. And we have a lot of water. So, what will the blueprint be? Well, we're going to need these 3 machines organised. And we're going to need a nice place for us to feed in and out the materials, because the only things going in and out of these blueprints will be water, heavy oil residue and fuel. It's no different than the standard diluted fuel recipe, but we don't have that yet because that is unlocked when we unlock blenders, which is way off from now. So, we're settling with this. I will get the very basics of the blueprint down and then try and explain further. Okay, I have finished the blueprint and I like it. I think it's good. It's simple, it's basically what I had before, but it's all color coded and organized and there's no clipping, so it's very nice. And just so I don't have to go in and fill all of the individual units with the empty canisters, I've just put this in here, so when I build it, it will automatically have them in there. So what do we have going on then? Because I said I would explain it better. What we have is we put in heavy oil residue and water. The heavy oil residue goes straight to the refinery. That just is in there, that's no problem. The water goes round here and into the packager, where it uses the empty canisters from here, which I could honestly just put here. And then that packaged water goes in the refinery with the heavy oil residue and makes packaged fuel. And then the packaged fuel comes out and comes in this packager where it's unpackaged and the canisters go back and the fuel comes all the way out. So that is the first blueprint done. I say first, what other blueprint do we need? I will get onto that. I just need to save this blueprint quickly. Alright, the blueprint is saved and now we need to make the second blueprint. Now, what is this? This power plant is going to be making turbo fuel and eventually rocket fuel, but we'll get onto that. For turbo fuel we need compacted coal. So, compacted coal needs coal and sulfur. And so, we need just a assembler blueprint, because we make compacted coal and an assembler, because we're going to need quite a lot of them. If I check my notes, I'm going to need 30 and a bit assemblers making compacted coal, because complicated, this is for later, but when you make rocket fuel you get a byproduct of compacted coal that you have to feed back into the system, so there's an extra 200 compacted coal that we'll be getting. But once we make this blueprint, once we finish the compacted coal research and make the assembled blueprint, then the only thing that we will need to place by hand, because we have blueprinted the rest of it, is the heavy oil residue refineries and the turbo fuel refineries, which I might blueprint as well, because there is quite a lot of them. There's 64 turbo fuel refineries and 18 heavy oil residue refineries, which is quite a lot, but it's definitely doable. So I need to run and get coal, because I don't actually have any, so I can complete the research over here and actually unlock compacted coal and turbo fuel. Which, come to think of it, I also need to find packaged fuel somewhere. Huh. I'll run to our temporary plastic thing and just redirect the fuel for a second to get enough packaged fuel, and then that'll all be ready. I have the coal and the sulfur, so get that. Yep, that's really nice odor. So now I just need to go over to the oil land and make some packaged fuel so I can unlock turbo fuel. You know what? How much did it say it needed? 50? Something like that. Alright, on I go. I now have the packaged fuel and I'm too lazy to go back, so I'm just gonna do it here. So, we need 15 compacted coal. That shouldn't take long. Where is it? Am I being silly? Can you not hand make it? Oh, whatever. I thought you could hand make it. Alright, now that's done, we can just go in here and bam, turbo fuel. Okay, well, I guess the question is now, is there any alternates that we need that we don't have? If we come across into here and we look at overview, we need compacted coal, got that, got turbo fuel now, got heavy oil residue. We got this, I don't know if we have heavy oil residue, so let's have a look. Well, first of all, heavy oil residue. We do not have that, so is it in here? Yes, we do. Heavy oil residue. Select. Wow. So, that's everything we need. But I am just going to go and quickly return and then make the compacted coal blueprints now that we have that, and also the refinery blueprints for the turbo fuel and the heavy oil residue. And then we can move on to stage 2. Okay, here we are, back, and I'm gonna start making the blueprint. The idea I have is to have 6 assemblers in each little block, so then we'll only need 5 of the blueprint, and then the compacted coal is incredibly easy. So we don't really have the space there, so we can't do them back to back, obviously. Might do it in across 3 like I did with the packaged fuel. Yeah, so the idea is probably going to be center that as well. 3. I don't think it'll fit another one if I do that. Hang on. Let's see. No. Okay, well, just evenly spaced them then. Hang on. Is that evenly spaced? Yep. Okay, so I'm going to do this and then have one layer on top, and that'll be the blueprint. I will come back when it's all finished and it's all looking cool with the lights and the aesthetics. I have finished the blueprint. I decided in the end to not actually put any assemblers on the top floor and instead just stack them because it's easier, but a little less heavy on the lights. We've still got some nice top lighting and a walkway here. Might put some lights above here. I'll see how I feel about that. I might put it in and check, but it's just 2 lines. Sulfur goes on the bottom, coal goes on the top, goes in. It's all done. There's 3 of these, so we'd need 10 of them, and then we'd overclock one of them. So that would be not that. I would need to save it to see how much it would take, wouldn't I? Anyway, yep. It's got power all hooked up and everything. So this is another completed blueprint. So now I need to do one for the heavy oil residue and the turbo fuel. I have finished the heavy oil residue blueprint, and it is very cool. I think this one's my favourite, but it's also the one that's going to be the most painful because it takes so many quartz crystals, and yeah, this will be closed off so you won't see this. I might actually put inverted ramps there anyway, I'm not sure. I'll at least put them there. I'm not a monster. So this is this one though, and now I just have to make the turbo fuel one. Come on, there we go. Which will be mostly the same as this one, except I'm only going to do them in 2s because, well, the turbo fuel only needs, how many was it? The turbo fuel needs 64 refineries, which is not divisible by 3. So, convenience, you know? So that's what's next on the agenda for me. And I will get on that in just a moment. Alright, I have finished and saved that blueprint. It's all ready. So now we've just got one last blueprint, the turbo fuel refinery. So this one's going to be a little bit smaller, just because it only needs 2 refineries, and they'll be set up to take the fuel and the compacted coal. Alright, bit of a simpler one, because we're going to be building the most of these, so I don't want it to take absurdly long. It's just got lines for the fuel and the compacted coal, but I think that I should remove this. Why, you may ask? It's so I can feed in the extra fuel, because in total to these refineries we're going to be feeding 1,440, and shockingly that won't fit in this one pipe. So I best also cover these belts. Yep. Alright. Very nice. I will save this one, and then step 1, blueprints, is done. We can take this off the list. Very good. So, what does step 2, concrete, mean? Well, if we head over on site, I was gonna say that the blueprint step was over, but actually I realised we need a blueprint for the generators because we're going to be placing a lot of them. Because if we just think about this, right? Fuel powered generator. Every generator burns 7.5 turbo fuel per minute. We're making slightly less than 1,200. I don't know the exact numbers right now, but it's somewhere like that. So 1,200 divided by 7.5 is 160 generators. That's a lot. So I just want to take some of the tedium out of it by just saying, hey, generator 1, just like one, yes, it's one generator blueprint, but if I just have the pipeline junction and the cables linked up, it will save so much time. I will center it there. So the blueprint will be very simple. It's just going to be like this, and then with the junction here. Yep. And then we're going to have power. The power line's on the back, isn't it? Yeah. Weird. Have that there. That's basically going to be it. Alright, the blueprint is done. It's very simple because I wanted to minimize the amount of stuff. But it is still looking good, and I like the colors. And we do have a few lights. So this is the materials. So I'm going to save this as fuel generator. Okay, that is the blueprint saved, and now we are actually done, and I've cleared off the to-do list. So, the next step is concrete, and this is really just blocking out and planning where we want things to go on site, and then placing our blueprints. Hello, Bean. So, we have a lot of space to play with here, but we do have to think about what of it we want to use. Probably this entire square, including back here, but we have to be careful of this, although this could be inside around all the other places. Right, it could be like enclosed, and this is going to go, so we don't need to worry about this. But what the? No, it's the mountain. But yeah, we need to think about where I want to put things, because there's a lot of choice, but we need a lot of space. So I'm just gonna think, I guess, and then I will, if I come up with something, I will say that was a hard drive for sure. But in order to actually see what we're working with, what kind of space we have in the terrain, we're going to need to clear some of that terrain of all this pesky nature that's getting in the way of our vision. So I spent a while just chopping down everything that was anywhere near where I thought I wanted to build. It was very cathartic to just obliterate the environment. I figured that the heavy oil residue should probably go here, since it's right next to the extractor and it's just going to go straight in there. So that was fairly easy. I'm thinking the fuel, hang on, let me just go into free cam instead. The fuel should either go like there, or even back here, or even like here. I'm not sure. That one needs the most space, so it might be there. But it just needs to be close to the water, so I don't have to do a ridiculous amount of piping. And then what are the blueprints do we have? The turbo fuel doesn't really matter, that just kind of needs to be equal distance between these two. The compacted coal, it kind of depends on step 3 with the trains, because wherever the trains come in, because the trains are getting coal and sulfur from in the desert, more on that later, it should be close to that, right? So it could be in here, because the trains could go through there. So that's an option, like round in front of this, or even back there behind this, but I might want the train to come through there. Like I said, it kind of depends on what happens with the trains, but probably somewhere back there, closer to the desert. And the fuel generators are just going to be everywhere. They don't matter, they're just going to be literally wherever we have space. Wherever we have space, we're just going to go, okay, fuel generator, wham. So that's the situation there. I've just been doing this because the blueprint doesn't have an end aesthetic or anything at the front here, so I just wanted to end it off. But if I place 3 more, come on, behave. I have placed all of the heavy oil residue refineries, and we've got this little pool, very nice. So I would just need to connect this in, but now I have an idea of how much space it takes up, and it's really not a lot, but I like how the blueprint came out, all next to each other. I'll just need to connect them on this side with the catwalks, because they're not connected, so like this. But yeah, this is generally what I'm going to be doing with the rest of them. I am not going to be placing all of these out though, because these require a hell of a lot of resources. So many resources. They take 300 concrete each, and if I just check again, yeah, they need 300 concrete each, and we need 24 of them. Let's just do some quick maths. 398 times 24. That's a lot. I will, like, deliberately, when I'm going to build those, go and get all the resources and actually fill my inventory and not just use the dimensional depot, because, my god, that's a lot. So yeah, very good, very cool. I will add the outputs here because they didn't fit on the blueprint before, and connect all of this, and then I will have a look at where probably the compacted coal will go next, because that is kind of just arbitrary, and it will help me decide what I want to do with trains, which is something I've been putting off, so I'm going to force myself to do it, which is good. And I also need to put something on this side to stop that. Okay. Actually, it's just occurred to me that I could unlock Pipeline Engineering Mark II. So the milestone actually needs 1000 plastic, 1000 rubber, and 50 heavy modular frames. But I've realised I can buy heavy modular frames from the Awesome Shop if I print these. And I've already got 17, but that doesn't help me with the buying. I can't like buy a specific quantity. Anyway, if I go in here and I look at parts, yeah, 50. So I can just go and unlock that, and that will save us some copper sheets, I guess. So I'll also have to grab some extra plastic and rubber. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna go and unlock that, and then I'm gonna come back, because I was just connecting all the pipes, and then I was like, oh, well, the oil, we're gonna need 540, but we don't have the pipe space for that. So I was like, oh, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna need to find another oil node? No, I can just unlock it without even automating heavy modular frames at all. Haven't even put down a single manufacturer. So yeah, Very lucky. Alright, here we are. Pipeline Engineering Mark II. So.
Milestone reached. Pipelines and pipeline pumps can now be upgraded to Mark II. They are like Mark I, but better. Pipes seem to be objects of fascination to humans. In fact, there are recorded instances of humans doing nothing but thinking about pipes for hours.
This is true. I can corroborate this. But, yep, Pipeline Mark II. So now we can get a whole maximum amount of fluid you can get in this entire game inside a pipe. It's kind of weird to me, honestly, that you max out, like we max out the pipe throughput so early, but we max out the belt throughput like way later. Like if you just think about it, if I just show you here, tier 6 here, that's, yes it's late, but it's also fairly early if you think about each phase gets progressively longer. You get the belts hit like the last milestone of phase 4, I'm pretty sure. It's like peak efficiency or something. That's so far ahead. I don't know why that is. I mean yeah, it's just weird to me. But now we've got those, I can properly do things. And oh, actually, I shouldn't go yet, because what are we building next? Well, I said I'd build these. These have 3 each, yeah, so we need 10. Okay, cool. So I'll just grab all the stuff for that, and then we will be able to build all the compacted coal blueprints. Making very good progress so far. Just a small update, I've finished the aesthetics here. Very nice. The other side doesn't have the ends on it, but that's because oh, I'm too far away. I want to connect it to other places, right? I kind of want to have walkways going through the whole thing, because it'd be really nice. So I wanted to leave it more open as to what I can do, basically. But I will cover up the Z fighting eventually. But as I was saying, compacted coal, that's what we're doing now. So I'm going to take this. Well, the sulfur and the coal are all coming from the desert, so we have to be kind of on this side of the biome, right? Just for ease. Although I could do it on the other side just for the rule of cool, having a train going across. That would be really cool. So I could do it anywhere, but now I'm over here, I'm just going to think about the trains, because the trains have to get up there, because I believe there's, hang on, I know I marked this on the map actually, let me just get down. Yes, okay, so these are the 2 sulfur nodes, and there's one right there, yeah, like I said, right there, and there's another one there-ish, somewhere up there. So we have to get up there. The way I was thinking to get up there is through there, by like going around the cliffs, like up there, maybe, but I'm not sure. It's a trickier one. Alternatively, we go all the way into the desert where the coal is, which I think is around here, right? Like we come through here all the way, and then we go up and back this way, which I did kind of like as an idea, but I'm not sure. What direction is the world grid, just out of curiosity here? So it is diagonal in a way. Interesting, that's just because, like, build on the world grids always. So like, but you gotta get it through places. So Might be a nice... I'm just going to think on this. This is going to take a while, I think. I have now planned the trains, roughly. Subject to change, but this is the idea. You got the coal and the sulfur we're bringing in. This is where it's going to go in and out. I'm going to go that way, and then I have put some concrete markers, so we're going to go... I'm going to do a train spiral, like there-ish, and then just because I have to go up at some point, so... I don't like train spirals, but I kind of have to, so then we're going to go there, up and along, and under all that, and then... I can't see the rest of it because it's too far away, but I planned a little bit up the cliff, and I've got a path, so just trust the process, I guess. But we have the train stations, and so now I need to actually make the compacted coal assemblers, which will probably be behind them. Now I'm looking at it. This center area is kind of nice. I might want to keep it, you know. But like I said, subject to change on everything. So who knows? Not me. I don't knows. But yeah, this is the idea. Going well so far. It does kind of look like a bit of a disjointed mess, but once we gussy it all up and connect it, I'm sure it will look brilliant. So yeah, I'm not sure when to remove this. I guess it will have to stay for the majority of the time because I still need plastic and rubber, unless I could just like go and put some containers like there, like a bunch of them, and then just have it feed in and just hope I don't run out. But then it'd be really annoying if I did run out. I don't know, I'll have to think on that. I have no idea. But the only thing I need to worry about right now is the compacted coal, so that's alright. So once again I got distracted from doing the compacted coal because I decided that we needed a control building of sorts, and I have created this board to tell us everything about the power station. Now this is all just hypothetical at the moment, obviously none of this exists, but this is the final idea. This tells you all the things that we're bringing in, how we're bringing them in, secondary products, but we don't have any, so I'm planning to reuse this kind of idea for other buildings, you know, it's a fun thing. Priority level is to do with priority power switches, because when we unlock those I will have everything hooked up, and power plants are always #1 priority, because if power plants stop then your entire grid explodes, which is not good. And this is fairly self-explanatory. I'm still working on the name, but other than that, wow, the moon is bright. Is that the moon or is that just a star? I don't know, but it's bright. But yeah, I got distracted once again. I'm gonna have to do the compacted coal tomorrow at this point, but maybe then I'll have some fresh ideas on where to put it. Maybe a fresh idea for the name. I don't know. Quite the conundrum. Quite the conundrum. I called it turbo. It's not making turbo fuel, but that's the issue. I don't know. It is now the next day and I came up with the name. Angel. Now, why the hell is it that? Well, the way I see it, this plant is our saving grace, because I want to go nuclear eventually, but the reason I'm going so heavy on oil power is so if nuclear crashes and burns, then we're not completely dead. We still have a really good amount of power here. So, it's our guardian angel, which is pretty clever I thought. And I also properly made the breaker room here, with the A and B's relating to the actual visuals on the power switch, but I don't have a power switch just yet. I'm about to go and unlock those, but I don't have any AI limiters on me. And I don't have those in the depot either, so that's unfortunate. But got the extractors and everything else labeled, and this will just be connected down to the B part, and the A part, this is just going to be they're all connected together. You can see it says already connected with another wire, and then that's all connected. I should probably put like I don't know. I will, but yeah, this is the breaker room. I will now, like I said, go and unlock power switches, and I'm going to finish the outside of this building, because right now I bet it's a really cool interior. Yeah. But yeah, I really like this board. I've never done something like this, and it's fun. Very fun. So yeah. Gotta get to work. Back up to the man. We can unlock power switches. Just need some steel beams. Deuterium. Power switch. And there we go. I don't think we can unlock
Power switch unlocked.
priority. No, not just yet.
The power switch facilitates power grid management through the application of the very latest advances in on-off switch technology.
Actually,
Fix it. It's fun to have power.
I'm halfway through, or some way through, building the exterior. It's going well. I need to decide what to do with this, like how to officially bring power over. I guess I'll have to do it with the train or something, because this is messy, but it's on for now. The things are all activated, and this is on. Turn it off for now. But we got the priority as well, so it's nice and labelled. Should probably do that. But yeah, still got a bit to go, especially on the walls. But so far it's going well. And I've checked the trains don't clip into anything, even here. Don't go around there, which is honestly shocking. I don't know, I literally can't do anything about that, so yeah. But yes, it's going well. And it's very neat, and that's what matters. Gotta finish up this bit and actually put a roof on, and then I can center. But something else is this is the central building of sorts, so I do want it to have a little bit of spectacle about it. See what I can do. Angel themed maybe. Stay on task. Ooh, that's a good idea. It's been a lot longer than it looks like. Thinking, but this is the finished product. I spent a long time trying to figure out the symbology. What's the word? I don't know. Editor me, put up the word now. Thanks. But yes, very, very nice, and now I will finally build all the compacted coal blueprints. It's a miracle, a Christmas miracle. So, no time to waste then. Just gotta head down here. And I believe we shall be going out the front. Yes. Well. See, I have now just realised that the belts, and this is a very easy fix, but the belts for the stuff are there. And where I was thinking of putting the actual compacted coal is back there. Never mind then, eh? Maybe I should just pave over the whole thing. I don't know. Okay, let's think about this like compositionally almost. I want to have a big circle here with like more of this, because that's cool, and it's like prime position for it. But this is here, so there's a big circle, And I could have... So I did place all of them, but then I had to do a little bit of power sharding and then connect all of the blueprints together. But placed them all down, I had all the resources, didn't have to wait for the depot because I'd saved up. And yeah, they ended up looking really good together. Okay, I have done a lot of aesthetics and I think it's looking very, very nice. This open space here is staircase and also where we're bringing up the belts. And we've got a nice open back here. I'm not sure what to do with this just yet. I might just steel wall it. But we've got another sign here. And I'm just working on the bottom. But I don't want to cover it up too much. I don't know. Like I said, I'm working on it. But everything is going very, very well. So, let's not stop. Let's keep the momentum. Okay, I have the belts all the way from the trains. Don't mind that, it's just so they're the right way around. Because when they're going up the elevators, they have to be a certain way around, so the belts still match, but they go all the way from under the tracks. And the items won't clip, don't worry about that. And back of the train. Very nice. So now it's done, this part. The only thing I need to do is connect that power line and turn off this light. But yeah, once that power line's connected, all of these will be ready to go as soon as the trains work, which is a whole other thing. But that's very good. So I think I will attach this. Yep. Okay, I'm going to attach the power, and then I suppose the next thing is the fuel. Okay, well, I'm gonna have to call it a day here. Not the end of the episode, though. Yeah, sorry to disappoint, that's a lie. This has been an absolute monster of a project, and I have nearly 3 hours of footage to go through and edit, and this needs to be done by tomorrow night. And I have a life outside of this, so I'm not going to get that done. So I'm calling it here. Oh, and another thing, I'm going to be away this coming weekend, which means I won't have as much time to edit next week's video because I do a lot of editing in the weekend. But yeah, I don't have the time basically, so I'm sorry to cut it off. But this is going to be the end of part 1, I suppose, of this power plant. Next week though, since I have a load of time to edit it now, it'll be brilliant. It'll be a massive episode and we'll get it done. But I'm sorry, it has to stop.